Shanda Initiative brings you Shanda Women and Wealth, a podcast that is run by a woman, bringing in fellow women to talk about wealth. The question is, are women having enough conversations about money? Are they confident to have conversations to do with money? Do they have the platforms where they speak about money? Today, on our first episode, I've got my guest, Desberia Mutara, who is coming in to speak to me about wealth creation, more about money. Desberia, welcome. I am happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's my pleasure being here.
You are going to hear her. She's a powerhouse. I can't wait for her to unleash the power that she holds when it comes to issues to do with money. She understands money. She works with wealth. She works with numbers. Desberia, to start off our conversation, do you think women are having enough money conversations?
That's an interesting question, Nicole. Money and money matters and wealth. Those are one of the taboo questions around women. To think of it, we are the majority in population here in Zimbabwe. We also do a lot of activities economically. The Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises says women are the majority when it comes to business, even if it's informal. But when we are talking about money and real wealth, the question remains pending. We are not having enough conversation. We are afraid. Sometimes we revert to the males in our societies, in our home. So no, we are not having enough conversations.
Wow, I'm glad to be hearing the statistics. She has it within her fingertips. Desberia, what could be the main reason behind us not having these money conversations? Is it about society? Is it about upbringing? Is there a fear that has been instilled in us concerning finances that will make us digress from it? Is it lack of focus? Is it where we are living? What could be the main influence behind this?
Thank you so much, Nicole. Zeroing in on the Zimbabwean context, my thinking is it's a combination of factors. For instance, growing up in a typical Zimbabwean household, wealth and money talks are put in the hands of men. It could be the father, the husband, even if it now comes to children, that money talks will only be approved with a stamp from your elder brother. So society has conditioned us to say, look, as Desberia, as a female, I'm not enough to discuss money and money matters, but only my decision, my thinking line should be affirmed either by my father, by my husband, or by my brother. So society has a play. And also, when you look at marriages, look, I'll give an example. A young woman who is 23, who is 24, she's driving a small car, but when marriage talks start to happen, there is question, who is going to inherit a car? Where is she going to leave it? Is she going with it? Is there transfer of wealth? So many questions now comes to say, if a woman is making financial decisions, she's doing it for the other family or for the family that she's coming from. And because of that, society is placed upon ourselves that money talks is not enough without the voice of a male counterpart.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm glad you've robbed in the boy child. I've always had a question. You know, we grew up being told of the provider. Mm-hmm. So where do we put the boundary line in terms of providence and the other party not wanting to participate? I know we have girls who admire, who want to get into unions that bring in someone more wealthier than them. It's a desire. It's where they are centered. And now you're talking about society. I know a lot of women have earned and they only get to want to understand finances and wealth when they've been struck with a disaster. Where are we going? What do you think should be done better, Desberia, as a mother in the household? What corrections should be done? Which syllabus should be rewritten? They can do the dishes well, they can prepare meals well, but when it comes to conversations to do with wealth creation, they are silent, they shrink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that observation, Nicole. I realized, let's take a student. We're a class of 50. There are girls who are equally competing. It could be in accounts, it could be in mathematics. They top up in their class. Imagine that intelligence, that wisdom. Where does it go when one gets into the marketplace, when one gets into marriage, when one gets to talk about money and money matters? We have the platform, the schools, they are teaching us that money has no gender. But when we go to home, of course, it becomes a subject that we have to treat on carefully, because unknowingly or knowingly, we might offend the next person. So, from the home, let's teach our children that money, irrespective of gender, it should be a subject that my boys as well as my girls can learn, apply with confidence. Look at the world is changing. The richest people in the world, they are giving companies, they are giving wealth, and they are also teaching their daughters that companies can be run irrespective of gender. So the home, let it not be a patriarchal money decision making in the hands of men. Let us give the girls ample time. If they go to the market with $10, they should bring change and buy tomatoes, whatever they think. But let's not say go and buy tomatoes because it's the dad that says so, because it's the boy child that says so. Decision making should be taught from the grassroots going up.
Wow, that's a mouthful. I'm glad that now you've put up the point that says money has no gender. Because I think for the longest of time, we've believed that money has gender. Desberia, society whispers to the girl child to say you should attain wealth to a certain level before you get to a union, because that will affect your chances of getting into a union. That will affect your chances of getting a spouse. So there are women, there are girls who have faced $1 million deals eye to eye, but they've been told to shrink back. What are your thoughts on this? How true is that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And unfortunately, it is the reality. This is what is happening on the ground. A girl child goes to work equally as a boy child. Within a few years, the boy child is buying cars, they are talking about stains, but that conversation is met with a pinch of salt when it's coming from a girl child. So you're going to get married. You make suitors scared of you. You'll be more powerful, and people who are wealthy, the girl child who is surviving financially, maybe they are saying, if you have a lot of cars, if you have houses, you are not submissive. It comes back to a question of submission in marriage, and it's measured by how much you have, not by how much you are willing to go in submission. So the issue of money, when it comes to women, it seems to have boundaries, shrinking low, so that by any chance you are not above the suitor who wants to marry you. By any chance you are not the voice that makes money decisions in marriages. And to me, I think it's unfair, because if someone has the money wisdom, if someone has the intelligence and has the capability, why should they not make that decision? And why should they shrink themselves? Perhaps someone who is smaller is walking by.
Wow, interesting. I know when we bring in the word submission, the audience shrinks. Some have goosebumps. It's a sensitive area for many. Interesting to hear that now we're bringing in money conversations to say the girl child deserves to be educated more. They deserve to be enlightened. They can still exist, their existence, and money can exist, and they can still be a wholesome woman. Desberia, which brings me to the issue that I've questioned for many years, for many months, the bridal shower syllabus. The girl child is taught about a whole lot of things there. We don't have any accounting people coming through. We don't have any financial people coming in to take stand. And I'm thinking, does it mean that if a mother is to understand a balance sheet, it subtracts for them being a person who's capable to be in the home? Let's get into that.
I love that question, Nicole, because let's talk about the bridal shower syllabus, the traditional. What are we talking about? We are talking about the bedroom. We are talking about the kitchen. Fair and fine. But are we also neglecting the issues that makes the marriage run? After the cooking that is happening in the kitchen, start with the ingredients. Money is already involved. After kids come into play, money is involved. There are financial decisions that has to be made. Where our children are going to school? Are we driving in this family? And how much are we spending on rent, A, B, C, D, investments, and so forth? But if we look at the syllabus, it's only the bedroom and the kitchen, because in essence, they are saying a woman's place is the bedroom and the kitchen. And to me, it doesn't sit well, because marriage involves a whole lot of facets. To start with, accountants. Even if they are not accountants, financial planners. We need to talk about investment. Where are we buying our house? And in whose name? Are we talking about trusts and companies? Those issues, they remain the white elephants in the room. We know they're there, but nobody's willing to say, let's talk about it, because it's uncomfortable, but uncomfortable topics also bring rewards. Let's talk about who is earning what? How are we going to use the money? It's surprising that people can actually be married to each other, but we don't know whose money works here. We don't know what happens with investments and everything. Sometimes it goes to the extent that a house is bought. We celebrate, we have a house in the home, but we don't know who is on the title deed. So money matters in bridal showers. To me, is integral. In addition, let's bring in lawyers. Let's bring in investments people. Let's bring in everyone who think impacts on the whole facets of the union. And that's my thinking line.
Wow, interesting. Let's have the lawyers coming through. Imagine having a girl child who understands about the net present value of projects, who knows what a positive NPV means, a negative NPV means. That would bring in a lot of wealth and community, and a lot of wealth and impact in their lives. I also think to the bridal shower syllabus, they should prepare the girl child how they act. Let's just say the husband wakes up and they're a billionaire. Which decisions do I make? Which courses should I take? And I think this is very imperative that these topics are brought in. Mindset in her, she brings in a lot of topics, she brings in a lot of impact. I would want to say, Desberia, where do you think we should start with the girl child? If we are starting from page 0, to say the mom and dad are bringing in the syllabus of wealth creation, money topics, at what age, at what point, and how do we bring in this conversation?
Thank you so much, Nicole. My thinking line, this conversation should start in the cradle. What do I mean? As soon as a baby understands the money, the dollar value, they know 10 Zig can buy maybe a packet of Sepnex. That's when money and money talks should start. We should bring in the right mentality to say money irrespective of gender. How does it work? How do people create wealth? How do we make money work for us? How do we keep ourselves, in case of danger? Let's talk about insurance. Let's talk about trusts. Let's talk about companies. All those vehicles that we use to keep our value of our wealth safe. So this conversation, like charity begins at home, they need to start in the home. Let's teach our children, whether boy or girl, that money has no gender. Let's teach them, instead of spending, how can we invest, how can we save, how can we multiply the money and the avenues using using age appropriate instructions. We can start with games. There is Monopoly, if people have tried it. We can start with paying, like you have a call that needs to be done, so that we teach them that you work and get money. When you get money, how then should you multiply it? And as children grow, let that habit grow with them, so that when they're out about, now they're in the real world, now they're in schools, now they're at the workplace, now they're everywhere where human life is, they know, they are confident of money habits, and how to get ahead in life, not to surrender decision making either to people, to husbands, to uncles, or to anyone else.
Wow. Thank you so much, Desberia. Money has no gender. She has emphasized on that. We cannot continue to have money issues put and then there's gender issues put in. Let's empower the girl child more so that they worship less of money and things that bring in money because they don't understand money. They should understand money. It should be a mandate. Thank you so much for watching our first episode. I am Nicole Ruvimbo Marara, founder for Shanda Initiative. I am bringing in these conversations through a podcast that brings in women, and it's run by a woman. Usanditarise neziso reruvengo ini ndaita mari